It was just a bend in the road. No house, no number, no map. There's a road Mark takes every day. Same time, same car, same flat playlist humming through the speakers. His hands grip the wheel like ritual, 10 and 2, as if structure could hold the world together. He's a graphic designer, freelance, quiet, a watcher more than a speaker. People say he's nice, smart, maybe a little distant. He'd say he's just tired of being awake. But when he drives, only then, something clicks. The curve in the highway just past Millbrook, the way the trees lean in, that's where it started. The house. He didn't notice it the first time. Not really, it was just there. A sliver of roof, a shape behind the trees, maybe beige or gray. Hard to say. It was always in shadow. Not threatening, not haunted, just wrong. Like it didn't want to be noticed, but resented being ignored. He blinked. It was gone. The next day, same place. There it was again. Closer this time. 2 windows. No curtains. No reflection in the glass. I saw it again. Same bend. Same house. I blinked. Gone. At first, he thought he was imagining it. Lack of sleep, eye strain, maybe just a weird optical glitch. But by the 3rd day, he slowed down. And by the 5th, he stopped. Pulled over, got out. Nothing. Just forest. Empty land. The trees too quiet. He opened his phone, snapped a photo, checked the image. Just trees. He zoomed in. Still trees, no house. The next morning, he opened Google Maps, switched to satellite, zoomed again. Empty patch. No structure, no data, no name. Like that spot wasn't mapped. He tried Street View, nothing. He posted on a forum. Anyone know if there's an old house past Millbrook, off the bend? Can't find it on GPS. No replies. He asked a local gas station clerk. Millbrook, nothing there, man. Trees, deer. That's it. He tried to forget it, but the house wouldn't forget him. Each day it was there, closer, more detailed. A flicker of curtains now, a slant to the chimney, a number, 219, rusted on a crooked mailbox, only visible from the corner of his eye. He couldn't stop thinking about it. He dreamed of the road, the bend, that house, silent, waiting. Mark started asking questions. At first, casually, like he wasn't really curious. A passing mention to a rideshare driver. Ever notice a house just past Millbrook, on the bend? The driver raised an eyebrow. Millbrook? That stretch is all trees, man. Nothing but roadkill and bad radio. Later, more directly, his neighbor, Mrs. King, walking her golden retriever. Hey, you grew up around here, right? You ever hear about a house on that bend? She paused, squinted. Bend? What bend? He pointed. She followed his finger. Blank expression. There's no house there. Always just forest. He went online. Reddit, local forums, urban legend threads. Posted under a burner name. Ben Watcher. Strange house past Millbrook Bend. No GPS. Anyone seen it? No replies. One downvote, then silence. The more he looked for it, the less it seemed to exist. But it was there. He knew it. He decided to prove it. He bought a dash cam, mounted it, clean angle, right at the bend. He drove the route like always. The house, exactly where it should be. He got home, loaded the footage, pressed play. Nothing, trees, just trees. He rewound, paused, frame by frame. Still nothing. His jaw clenched. He rewound again, watching the moment he knew the house should appear. Nothing. He grabbed his phone, drove again, slowed down, held the camera up, snapped 5 photos, opened the last one. It was blurry. He zoomed in. There, a window, faint, but there. He tapped to focus, and the screen flickered. The image sharpened. And in the upper window, a face, not someone else, his own, expressionless, pale, watching from inside. He dropped the phone. That night, things changed. In the bathroom mirror, something was off. He looked the same, but not quite. The eyes lingered too long. The reflection blinked just a second late. He heard a creak in the hallway, but he lived alone. The hallway clock ticked once, then stopped. The air buzzed with silence, too loud to ignore. He started forgetting simple things. Keys, dates, words. One morning he found his shoes in the fridge. Another, his watch reversed. Numbers spiraling backward. He didn't feel watched. He felt remembered. Like the house knew him, knew who he used to be, who he could have been, who he tried to bury. I'm not afraid of the house. I'm afraid that it remembers me. The morning was made of fog, thick, wet, silent. Mark left before sunrise. He didn't eat, didn't speak. He just drove, slow, steady, his breath shallow, heart pacing ahead of him. The bend came, and the house was there. No more glimpses, no more flickers. It stood fully, plainly, like it had always been there, and always would be. Paint peeling, chimney cracked, windows black as ink. Real, more real than the road behind him. He parked the car, engine ticking as it cooled. For a long time he just sat, watching, waiting, hoping something, anything would stop him. Nothing did. He stepped out. The grass crunched under his feet. Dew clung to his jeans. The wind didn't blow, but the trees swayed, like they were breathing, like they were watching. A rusted gate waited at the edge of the property. When he touched it, it moved, not opened, not creaked. Moved, like it had been waiting to respond to him. He stepped through. The gravel path wound toward the house like a question with no mark at the end. The closer he came, the heavier the air became, thick with memory. Not his, yet somehow familiar. 3 wooden steps, a porch that groaned under his weight, one door, faded red. He didn't knock. He reached for the knob, didn't need to. The door opened on its own, a long inhale of air, not from outside but from inside the house, as if it had been holding its breath. He crossed the threshold. Silence, not emptiness, not abandonment. Memory. It pressed on his ears, hummed behind the walls. The kind of silence that followed a final word never said. The air was stale, but alive. Thick with dust, but the dust danced. Slow, graceful, like it had somewhere to be. The light was wrong, soft and sourceless. Shadows flickered without cause. Corners shifted when he wasn't looking. The layout made no sense. A hallway to his left led back to the same hallway to his right. The floor under his feet changed texture with every step. Wood, then tile, then carpet. But always the same rhythm, thud, thud, thud. He stopped. It wasn't his footsteps. It was breathing, not in his ears, in the walls, in the floor, in the very air. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Then he realized it was in sync with his own. The house was breathing with him. He stood still, felt the pulse behind the wallpaper, the weight of presence, not person. Something was here, not hiding, waiting, not dead, remembering. And he knew, this house, it's not built of brick, it's built of me. The hallway didn't end, it just turned. Not sharply, not geometrically. It folded, like a memory you hadn't looked at in years suddenly unfolding itself in your hands. Mark stepped forward. The first door opened without touch. Inside, a bedroom, dim, dusty, still. There was a bed with rumpled sheets, a red toy truck on the floor, a cracked lamp, a window looking out into nothing but gray fog, and a voice. "Marky, wanna play?" His breath caught in his throat. He knew that voice. Soft, high-pitched, laughing through missing teeth. It came from under the bed. He dropped to his knees and saw nothing, but he heard it again. "It's okay. I'm not mad. I didn't mean to fall." His brother, Nathan, dead at 6, drowned. Mark had been there. He'd looked away for 1 minute. 1 stupid minute. Tears welled. He blinked hard. When he opened his eyes again, the room was gone. He stood now in a bathroom. The mirror fogged, though no steam rose. The light above the sink flickered in a slow, aching rhythm. He breathed in. Lily of the valley, his mother's perfume. Underneath, a bitter, clinical tang. Pills, antiseptic, faint ammonia, the scent of hospitals, of confusion. He turned slowly to the mirror. The reflection didn't match. It moved a moment behind him. His own face, older, hollowed, like it had lived here, longer than he had. In the tub, water, still, murky. He didn't want to look, but he did. No body, just the faintest ripple, as if someone had just stepped out. Next, a hallway with torn posters on the wall, albums, skateboards, a smell of sweat and synthetic cologne. His old bedroom, he knew it without question. The walls, dark blue. The lamp, shaped like a moon. The scratch on the desk, from when he threw a chair at it during an argument. And sitting in the desk chair, him, 17, hair longer, face angrier, shoulders tense like a coiled spring. On the table, a letter, torn, scribbled. Only the first line was legible. If you're reading this, I'm sorry I didn't stay longer. He reached for it, but the boy, his younger self, looked up, right at him, and said nothing. No rage, no tears, just emptiness. Mark backed away, his hands trembling. He didn't remember writing that letter. Did he? Did he almost? He stumbled out into another hallway. The walls pulsed. The floor groaned beneath memory, too heavy to hold. He put his hand to the wall. It felt like skin, warm, breathing. The house wasn't just showing him the past, it was made of it. Each brick, each floorboard, each room, a regret. Each window, a moment he'd never looked through again. The house doesn't haunt me. It's built from the moments I buried. The corridor stretched impossibly long. No doors, no windows, just silence and his footsteps echoing like whispers from a dream he didn't want to remember. The lights above flickered in a rhythm that felt too close to his pulse, too intimate. He turned a corner and stopped. There was someone standing at the end of the hall, still, waiting. The man looked familiar. Same height, same walk, same scar above the eyebrow, the one he got falling off a bike at 12. But something was wrong. This man stood differently, back straight, shoulders relaxed, eyes that didn't dart, they pierced. Mark took a breath. The man mirrored him. A slow smile played at the corners of his mouth. "You look tired," the man said. "You always did." Mark's throat went dry. He tried to speak, but his voice felt stuck somewhere behind his ribs. "You know who I am," the man continued, "don't you?" He did. It was him, but not. Stronger, sharper, a version of himself that hadn't flinched, that hadn't buried the pain, that hadn't walked away. "I stayed," the other said, stepping forward. "You left, but you never really lived, did you?" Mark shook his head. "This place isn't real." "Real?" the man chuckled. "What's more real than memory? Regret? The things you pretend never happened? You ran," he continued. "You numbed yourself with work, with silence, with pretending to be okay. But part of you stayed. Part of you always knew." Mark's hands clenched. "I survived," he said. "No," the man replied, stepping closer. "You paused. You froze. You smiled through a mouth full of glass and said you were fine." Mark looked into those eyes, his eyes, and saw everything he'd tried to forget, the scream he never let out, the choices he never made, the truths he never said. And now, they stood before him, not as memory, as him. They didn't fight with fists. They didn't need to. Every word cut deeper than a blade. "You think this house trapped you? No, you brought it with you. built it, room by room. You are the house. You think you escaped, but you ran. You never left. The corridor twisted, light bent, walls breathed. 2 heartbeats, in sync, then staggered, then merged. Mark dropped to his knees. His other self knelt too, face to face. They stared, and in that silence came a truth he hadn't dared speak aloud. You were never my shadow, Mark whispered. I was yours. He ran, didn't think, just moved, through the hallway, down the stairs, turned left, and was back where he started. Again, the same hallway, same light flicker, same soft creak of something breathing behind the walls. He tried another door, opened into a living room he hadn't seen before, then a kitchen, then the same hallway. Again. No matter which way he turned, the house folded around him like paper, a maze made of memory, and it remembered better than he did. He pulled out his phone, hands shaking. The lock screen lit up, July 3rd, 2015, a date he hadn't seen in years. His brother's birthday. His vision blurred. He blinked. The screen flickered, then shattered from the inside. The light gone. He looked up and saw himself, outside, through a window that shouldn't be there. Mark stepping out of a car, looking up at the house, reaching for the gate. It was him, arriving, again, from the beginning. A loop. He screamed, pounded on the glass. No sound came out, only a long, low hum, like the house was thinking. He stumbled backward. Every door he opened now showed the same room, a blank space, a ticking clock with no hands, a chair, and a screen. On the screen, memories, flashes of things he'd refused to name. Him at 17, crumpling the suicide letter. His mother staring through him in the hospital saying, "I'm sorry, who are you?" His brother's hand slipping beneath the water. A voicemail he never listened to, a message he never sent. He fell to his knees. Time wasn't moving. He wasn't moving. The house wasn't keeping him in. He was keeping the house alive. It fed on his silence, his denial, his pretending. He clutched his chest, felt it beating, not fast, not slow, just steady. The same rhythm as the house. It wasn't hunting him. It wasn't punishing him. It was reflecting him. And he saw it then, clear as breath on glass. I never walked away from the past. I built a life inside it. The hallway was different now, still breathing, still shifting, but slower, like it was waiting respectfully. Mark walked, no longer running. The fear didn't vanish, but it softened, like grief after many years, like remembering pain instead of feeling it. At the end of the hall, a wall, but in the wall, a door, not like the others. No knob, no handle, just wood, worn smooth by time or memory. Below it, a photograph. He bent down, picked it up. A grainy image, slightly yellowed, of a man standing in front of the house. Him, but younger, cleaner, eyes still unsure. And in the window behind that man, an old face, his face wrinkled, hollow, watching. Had he always been here? Had he never left? He held the photo tight and spoke. I accept it, all of it, my brother, my silence, my fears, the parts I ran from, the weight I buried, the version of me I didn't want to become. I see him now. I see me. The door clicked and opened. Light spilled in, but not bright, not blinding, just real. He stepped through, and the house exhaled. The air outside was colder, sharper, edges more defined than he remembered. Same street, same car, same sky. But something was off. Colors too saturated, sounds a little too soft, like the world was running at half speed. People passed him on the sidewalk. No eye contact, no nods. They walked through his space, like fog around a tree. He reached a storefront, stopped, looked in. A reflection, not his, not exactly. It was the other him, straighter posture, steadier eyes, The one who'd stayed, the one who'd won, or maybe the one who'd never left. Mark stared. The reflection stared back and smiled, faintly, almost kindly. He whispered, not sure if aloud or inside. Some houses don't exist, but they're more real than anything else. And once you enter, a part of you never leaves.